Hello YouTube, this is Morgan, Airspeed Prime here at my next Naruto Gaiden chapter review. This one's going to be for Chapter 6, Unevolving Species. And yeah, I thought that overall this was a pretty good chapter. It advanced things a lot. We got some pretty nice moments overall relating to like the theme that seems to be the overall theme of this story. We learned a little bit more about the villain. Sakura came back into things. And we just had some, in general, pretty cool fight scene moments as well. I think definitely the highlight of this chapter is just the comparison that they're obviously trying to show between Sasuke as a parent and Shin Uchiha, who's revealed to be the name of our main villain too, in addition to the kid, their father and son too. And just the contrast between Sasuke, who, despite not knowing what his daughter looks like at this point in time, being away from her so long, being very dismissive of her in some of the scenes in the last few chapters, does still care about her despite all this, and knows that he has a lot to make up to her, like, about what's just happened. And you know, he puts himself on the line, takes some of those kind of spinny dagger things that Shin Uchiha fires at him to save Sarada, compared to Shin Uchiha, who uses his power to save himself by sacrificing his own son, who happens to also be named Shin Uchiha. And then by the end of the chapter is basically sacrificing his son, you know, to transplant what looks like a liver, I think, to save his own life at the expense of killing his son. And doesn't seem to care about that. The overall theme of this book seems to be kind of family, specifically parents, almost more specifically than that, fathers. And this episode highlighted that very clearly, that, as I said, even though Sasuke isn't the best parent, he still cares about Sarada, whereas we have this guy who's around Shin Uchiha a lot, but clearly doesn't care about him at all. And Naruto points this out in the chapter. Sarada, Sakura, and Sasuke both kind of are shocked that this guy's kind of the way he uses Shin, and it's shocking in itself, just that's what our main villain's about. I think this chapter also highlighted that the villain I don't massively care about. I think overall Naruto Gaiden, what is always going to be the highlight and what people look for is just the older character interactions, seeing them interact with each other now that they're older, seeing them interact with their kids, and their kids' interactions. This new villain is fine and all, in that there's a lot of mystery surrounding him that I'm pretty interested in, but I'm not, like, in this fight scene, I'm just like, okay, this is cool and all, but you just interrupted a really cool family moment there. Can we please get past this and just focus on the family stuff? But at the same time, I do really want to know what the deal is with Shin Uchiha. Like, are they actually father and son, or is this kind of a Jango Fett, Boba Fett type situation where, like, the Shin Uchihas, which there seems to be a bunch of them, are like clones that he like created? Because he says at the end of the chapter to Sakura, "You're a medical ninja too," which makes it sound like he's a medical ninja, because he was preparing for a transplant before he even realized Sakura was a medical ninja. So they seem to be going for this kind of mad scientist thing with him. And now, who is he? How did he get all these Sharingans attached to himself in his head? The unique power that he seems to have about being able to manipulate weapons telepathically, which he uses to stab Naruto with. There's some really interesting stuff, but it's kind of like, I just want that backstory for this villain. What he's doing right now in the present, in the plot, in terms of making life difficult for our heroes, isn't the most interesting thing to me. I did like that we got a little bit of his kind of philosophy, why he is a villain, come out here, and that the chapter's called Unevolving Species, and he thinks that with the world at peace now, that human advancement and development, basically their evolution as a species, comes to a stop, and thus any species that stops evolving deserves to be destroyed. And I think I saw somewhere that Shin means kind of like new in Japanese, so the guy's name is basically New Uchiha, and he has all these powers plus some new powers, and he wants to take like Sasuke's Sharingan and Rinnegan for himself, and change things like that. He wants to capture Sarada, who is the kind of heir to the actual Uchiha clan, stuff like that. So it's interesting for sure that this is what he's about. That's his whole purpose for bringing back the Akatsuki, to bring the world to war so that humans can advance again. But at the same time, I think just even the premise for Naruto Gaiden shows that he's wrong. In that straight away, we know that there is a huge technologically advanced city built on the kind of mountainside of the Hidden Leaf Village that sprung up basically in the aftermath of the war. That things have advanced drastically with the world at peace, faster in fact than when the world was actually at war. So the guy clearly is wrong here, but he's an interesting enough villain, I think, overall. But again, backstory is the main thing I want for him. In terms of the actual rest of the episode, the fight, as I said at the end of last chapter, it was going to be very difficult to get the balance of how powerful Sasuke and Naruto are compared to how powerful the villain is, and not make it look like you've completely kind of nerfed Naruto and Sasuke's power. And they do it okay. He does an okay job at it this chapter, in that this guy's power, which they don't know about, it's a new Sharingan power to basically manipulate weapons freely, kind of telepathically, takes Naruto by surprise. He gets stabbed. He's not at risk of dying. He just, got stabbed in the stomach. He's in Sage mode, so he's a bit more durable. And he says basically he's going to heal. Sasuke gets hit with some of those kind of spinny dagger things, and they seem to have some sort of other ability where they stop his movement. But overall, he seems like he's going to be fine. And of course, he goes down in the end relatively easy. Obviously, Sakura taking him by surprise, and the implication being that her punch, when she arrived on the scene, either knocked his liver out of his body or just destroyed it in one punch, which means he requires a liver transplant to stay alive, which leads to him basically ripping out his son's liver to save himself, which was pretty interesting. But it was a cool moment seeing Sakura arrive back on scene and just basically save the day. Now, I saw a lot of people react quite negatively to the fact that she's quote-unquote kidnapped at the end of this chapter, but the thing is, it doesn't feel like the character Sakura is in danger. To me, I didn't get the implication that at the end of the chapter she's in any way afraid of the situation she's in. She's just like, oh, bad situation I'm in, but just the way she talks to Sheen when he's on the table, she seems completely in control, that she could take on the 5 or 6 clone Shin Uchihas there, because otherwise the main Shin Uchiha plus the father Shin Uchiha are basically about to have an operation done. She's not really at much risk. So I think what they're gonna do is, okay, everyone else is gonna go and try and find Sakura, and we're gonna have this kind of side plot that Sakura learns about who Shin Uchiha is from her time with him there. She's gonna maybe help them perform the operation. Maybe she'll make a decision to save the kid's life over the father's, and he'll maybe reveal some stuff about what exactly their plan is. While obviously Sarada, now knowing that her father does care about her and kind of knows a little bit more about the mission he was on, why he's been away so long, now knowing that Sakura is her mother, will really want to save her. Maybe she'll have a big moment where she uses her Sharingan in battle for the first time against maybe one of the Shin Uchiha clones and help save her mother. They also seem to be setting up this idea that Sakura and Naruto in the fight were both very rusty or something like that. Just like especially Kurama says to Naruto that really, you're complaining about this sword in the stomach, you're not going to die. You really lost your kind of battle skills, haven't you? And Naruto just yeah, I was pathetic. So they seem to be setting up that at some point there's going to be just this big battle where they get back to full strength and just demolish someone. I'm not really sure where exactly it's going, because there's some people thinking that this story is only going to run about 5 more chapters, maybe only up until just past chapter 10 or something like that. And in many ways, that's kind of I kind of understand why the people are saying that, because it seems like the kind of story's going to come to a conclusion relatively soon, but I'm not really sure. Um, but yeah, there's not much else really to say about the chapter. You know, we got to see Sasuke's like fireball jutsu, which was pretty cool, and he actually hit someone with it. Usually it's just dodged, so that was nice to see. And yeah, again, you know, I'm not too frustrated by how kind of underpowered Naruto and Sasuke felt in the chapter. They were taken by surprise. This guy has kind of new powers they didn't really know about. They know about them now. And in the end, Sheen did go down relatively easy in the end. So, are they leading to a massive fight that like Sheen gets healed or something like that, and there is a big fight at the end? I'm not really sure, but again, there was a big interruption before Sasuke was about to say something to Sarada and Sakura about, you know, his being away for so long. And I think eventually when this whole villain is dealt with, we're going to get that scene we've been waiting for basically since chapter 1, where Sakura and Sasuke just sit down and talk to their daughter. Maybe Naruto is there to witness it. Maybe goes back to Boruto and realizes that maybe he hasn't been spending as much time with him, and we get a family scene with like Naruto and Hinata, Hinawari, and Boruto, and they just kind of conclude this kind of short, you know, 10-15 chapter thing with just family is key, and that's it. But again, I'm not really sure. We're still very early on in the series. Again, this chapter was pretty good. Some slight issues overall, but I'm still super interested in like basically everything that's going on here. So, yeah, as far as the next chapter directly, what's going to happen, I assume it will primarily be just like, okay, we're going after Sakura to find her. Maybe Naruto can track him in Sage Mode. Maybe Sasuke can track him by Sharingan powers. But they're going to go save her. Sakura's probably going to learn a little bit more about both Shin Uchihas and what that whole new Akatsuki plan is. But that's about all I predict for next chapter. But that has been the review. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts were on this review plus the chapter. But yeah, thanks for watching, and bye.